You may know him as a WWE superstar, as the Big Red Monster, the Big Red Machine, or the Devil's favorite demon, but now you can call him a bona fide horror icon. He's the star of See No Evil 2, which gets released on video on demand October 17th, and on Blu-ray and DVD on October 21st. Here is my guest, Kane. Kane, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us, Kane. Big fan. We were just at a screening in New York this week with the Soskas who did a Q&A, and they told a very interesting story on what they thought was going on in your head when you found out that they were gigantic wrestling fans. But can you tell us what really was your first thought meeting the Soskas?
My first thought was, oh no, they're just gonna grill me with wrestling questions for hours, questions about WWE. But no, the Jen and Sylvia are awesome. I had such a great time working with them. And they're great movie makers. They're huge WWE fans, and they have a very bright future, and I've told them on a number of occasions to not forget about me when they become big shot Hollywood directors, in the future, because I want to be part of that future too. So, they're just tremendous.
All right, so I know you watched one of their other projects, American Mary. After watching that, did it just scare you knowing that these little pretty women can think of some of the most deranged things possible?
Yeah, but I'll tell you a funny story. I went with I took my wife to see the Hannibal or the Red Dragon movie, the one where Ray Liotta eats his own brain. I think it was, I can't remember anyway. And it's also, where Clarice Starling falls in love with Hannibal, basically. And, I think in this one she's played by Julianne Moore. But in any case, I'm sitting there watching it, and my wife is digging this because it's a love story, and I'm going, oh, my God, this guy Hannibal Lecter eats people, okay? She's like, oh, that's so wonderful, they're in love. I was like, yeah, he eats people. And she says, well, he only eats people that deserve it. And I'm like, oh, God, whatever. But that's the thing about American Mary, is that the people she got actually deserved it. So in a lot of ways, American Mary reminded me quite a bit of Dexter, because, she just went after the bad guys. And the thing about American Mary, same thing about See No Evil 2, is it's a beautiful movie the way it's shot. And what's particularly disturbing about that is you're dealing with very disturbing subject matter, but you're also watching a beautiful movie, so I think that has even more of an emotional impact on you. And as for the girls, the thing about American Mary is that, they wrote it, they directed it, they were in it, and their parents mortgaged their house to produce the movie. So we want to talk about pressure, when your parents, are giving you the money that they got, by putting their house, taking out a mortgage on the house, that's pressure. So yeah, on the one hand you're going, man, this is really disturbing on a lot of levels, but on the other hand, you're like, man, these guys are magnificent movie makers.
No, absolutely, and I'm a huge fan of them. Last time around, speaking of pressure, you had 2 months to shoot the original, from what I understand, and this one was shot in about 15 days. That, to me,
yes, that's
pressure.
Yeah, it was, and that really did change a lot of things, because this was more shot like television. When you go in with TV, the director has to know what he wants. He gets it. You move on. You don't have time, we can maybe tweak it or maybe do it a little differently, whatever. And it was the same with this. Once we had a shot, we had to go because we had a schedule to keep. And of course, there were times when we got a little behind schedule, and when that would happen, this is another testament to the twins. When that would happen, everybody would start freaking out except for them, and they would sort of keep everything together and, get everybody back on the same page and get things rolling again. But yeah, there was pressure, but I actually think that sense of urgency makes things better, because you have to do it. You have to do it right. and
Absolutely.
all too often, when I do TV and movies, it's funny because I'm not a good rehearser because I'm so used to doing things in one take live in WWE that I'm like, let's just do this. I understand you have to rehearse for cameras and stuff, but as far as my performance, I'm like, I just want to do this, because I don't want to waste all my energy in a stupid rehearsal, and it's always funny because the other people laugh at me because, they're trained differently. But I think that we also took that attitude with this one is, we have to do our best take every time because that take really counts.
Well, I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'm a huge horror buff, as well as everyone else in the show. We went to the screening. Everyone loved the film. The only disappointing thing in the film, no revenge on the pissing dog.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I'm a dog lover myself, though, so I'll give him a pass.
All right, I got to go back to the first film real quick. There was a rumor on the internet back in the day that Vince McMahon wanted Jacob Goodnight, your character, to have a 3-foot penis in one of the scenes in the film.
No. At least not to my knowledge.
Okay. Was there ever any discussion about bringing the Jacob Goodnight character into the WWE? I know for a while you were coming down to the ring with the same hook that he had in the first movie. Was there any discussion about that?
No, not really, because, Kane was an established character and everything. So, the most, we had, the two integrations. You only had, you had the genius marketing, of having the May 19th deal, the release date of the movie, also became a storyline essentially in WWE, which is something only we could do. And then you had Kane coming out with the hook at times, but that was about as far as any integration or any part of Jacob in WWE. Serious thing is that they really are separate characters. Even though they're both villains and even they're both monsters to some extent, they're different. I think Kane is actually a lot more evil than Jacob is because Kane knows what he's doing and Jacob doesn't really. He's a lot more controlled by his mother and outside circumstances, So in that respect, I actually didn't want to see, integration like that because, it would blur the lines between what are two separate characters.
Yep, absolutely. Did you do your own stunts in the film?
Now, the caveat is, though, most of my stunts consist of throwing people around. So,
breaking doors.
Yeah, and breaking doors. The twins tease that I have. I have a thing about doors and walls in this movie because I break through a lot of them. But yeah, as far as stunts, I did my own stunts. One of the things that's really cool. Because of all my experience in WWE, the stunt coordinator, Kamani Smith, who was, very experienced, really great guy, knew what he was doing, but we would talk about how we wanted to do particular things, and he was very open to my input into, the fight scenes and that sort of stuff, and I was really flattered by that.
To me, this is more work than stunts. How do you, quote-unquote, maintain composure when you have Catherine Isabel, who may be one of the most beautiful women on the planet, and she's half naked and dry humping you? To me, that's acting.
Yeah. Trying to keep a straight face through that was pretty difficult. Especially, not only is she beautiful, she's also hilarious. She's just funny, and So that was one of the more difficult parts of the whole deal. And it wasn't even that. It was just, no one knew that she was going to start doing the whistling bit, and it's hilarious. And she would start whistling, and I would start giggling, and so talk about wasting some takes. We did waste a couple takes. I couldn't help it. I just start busting out laughing when she would start whistling.
I got to ask you, what is more challenging, 12 hours on a movie set or 5 minutes in the ring with Great Khali?
Probably 12 hours on the movie set.
That's the PC answer. I get it. Which incarnation or time period of the character Kane was your absolute favorite?
The original, 1997, coming in against the Undertaker. I've said it before, but I really do believe that that's the best bit of epic storytelling WWE has ever done. Because you have these two, larger-than-life characters. They're like, like Greek gods or mythological characters, duking it out. And it was just such a great story and done so well. They planted the seeds months before with Paul Bearer, and that was definitely my favorite. And then, of course, from there, that's the beginning of the Attitude Era,
Yep.
So I got to be involved in, all sorts of great stuff right after that. So that's definitely my favorite time period.
Winning the WWE title, classic matches with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. There's too many to count. But one thing that sticks out in my mind as a memory that I have is that pure wrestling match that you did with the Big Show. It was a match where you did a lot of chain wrestling for a good 6 or 7 minutes. Was there a story behind that? Did you guys just sit there and say, you know what? They don't expect 7-foot guys to sit there and do reversals.
Yeah, that was probably it, because the other thing is, with two big guys like that, there's only so much you can do, especially the fact that Show is what he is. No one on the planet physically can hang with him as far as trying to outmuscle him or anything. He's just the dude's on a different level than anyone else. So we had to think of something different that would hopefully grab people's attention, and that's what it was to do probably the thing that they expected least, So, and it's funny you say that, because I've been told that by other people too, that they remember that match, and I'm like, really, So I guess it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. I know we're on limited time, so let me just go through speed round questions. Just give us a couple word answers for these quick questions that we had come in from our social media sites. Who would win in a fight, Brock Lesnar in his prime or Haku in his prime?
Ooh, I don't know. That one may be a draw in which the audience is the loser because those guys spill out and beat everybody up. So I don't know. Those are two tough, mean guys.
There's been neckties, coffee cups, beanie babies, but what do you think is the strangest piece of Kane merchandise that you've ever seen?
Probably the Christmas ornaments.
Okay, we got, will we ever see a Senate run from Kane?
Oh, probably not. You have all that speculation, but probably not.
What was worse, Katie Vick or the implementation of Obamacare?
The implementation of Obamacare was much worse but they're both dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Are you a horror movie fan, and if so, what's your favorite horror movie?
I am a horror movie fan. The horror genre is my favorite genre, and Silence of the Lambs is my favorite movie.
And we read that Kane likes to play Grand Theft Auto. Give us another surprising fact about Kane.
I have, at this point, I have like 15 dogs, most of whom were rescue dogs.
So you really are a dog lover.
Yes.
All right, so
I don't have the dog from the original Sino Evil movie, though.
This next question is from John from New York. How many times could he wear that mask before it smelled like old cheese and had to replace it? Did he get facials to keep his skin clear of acne? If not, what soaps did he use? What's worse, swamp ass or swamp face?
Those are questions for the divas. You're asking me beauty tips at this point. What was worse with the first mask that I wore was at the time I had really long hair, and that mask had brass rivets in it, and I would pull my hair through the straps of the mask when I wore it, and it just shredded my hair. So, I would spend literally hours in the shower detangling my hair because of that mask. It wasn't my face, it was my hair that was the victim.
Excellent. And what's your opinion? Have we seen the last of The Undertaker? Has he wrestled his last match?
I don't think so, actually. I think that he'll be back at some point.
Excellent answer. All right, everyone needs to check this film out. I saw it this weekend. Awesome, awesome film. If you're a fan of the horror genre, if you're a fan of WWE, no matter what your thing is, you're listening right now for Kane, you're going to want to check this film out. It's See No Evil 2. You can get it on demand October 17th. You can own it on Blu-ray and DVD on October 21st. It's a tremendous film. Kane, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And buy the movie.